Welcome everyone to AED&D. It is Thursday this week because I'm gonna be out of town starting tomorrow. Uh, you're here with Bork, myself, Frequency, who's playing Chad Sparkstorm. Gotta remember my character's name. Frequency, or AKA the Man Bear, and the one and only Donnie Danger as our DM. We're doing the Powerless campaign. Don't flex too much, but uh, we have something special in order for today. So I'm just gonna give you right on over to Donnie Danger, and he can fill you in.
Okay, so we're going to do a little something different at the beginning of this session. Within the possession of Sparkstorm is a comic book he purchased from a comic book shop. And within
Oh,
this
that
shop,
comic book. Okay.
there were some comics that possess information on things, stories written about characters that no comic book artist could have known about or written about. And yet these stories exist all the same. And while perusing one of these comic books, never explicitly happened within the course of our narrative, but I wrote up this little story, all the same, that's supposed to happen within one of these stories, and really wanted to share with all of you guys. So, without further ado, let's discuss the contents of this comic book. You gaze upon it. It has the visage of a villainous looking man in a studded yellow jacket facing off against a chrome black humanoid, a robot maybe. The title is Villain versus Gadget Man, or Destruction Incarnate versus the Ultimate Android. And upon opening it, the narrative opens. And the story begins. I will begin reading it. The sun is setting over Century City. A black crescent shaped jet cruises along the horizon as its pilot sits idly at the helm. The man in the seat is dressed in a fine suit, more befitting a butler than a pilot, and his mind is preoccupied. He is Gadget Man, and he is an android designed to protect his master. But his memory is hazy. He remembers being a butler of the Giz mansion, yet does not recall his master. All the same, he is dedicated to his task. He knows his last order was to guard Century City from any threat, and that is his sole fixation. As far as threats go, he is limited by his total output. Without the bidding of his master, he can only utilize 1% of his power. This is a limit imposed by his programming, and if he were to go all out, he could at best fight for 1 minute. As such, Gadget Man has taken the liberty of allowing Century City to settle crime on its own terms. It is a matter of risk prevention, after all. If anyone truly dangerous were to appear, he must be ready to fight at his best. After all, he has the big picture in mind. He tries justifying this to himself. The logic makes sense to an android, but he sees people suffering and feels confliction. Regardless, he holds firm as he knows the threat is approaching that dwarfs any he's seen before. He has access to his master's information network and knows a potentially world ending threat draws near. And the scene shifts. You see the shores of Century City. A man in a studded yellow jacket emerges from the water. He seems completely untouched by the water. He's dry, and he wears a cocky smile. His name is Victor Virtue, but he calls himself Villain now. His motives are a mystery, but the power he has is clear. He can completely wipe away anything from existence, though he just calls his power destruction. Just as he destroyed any trace of water near him while he was miles below the surface of the ocean. Just as he destroyed the will of one of the heroes who was destined to save the world at the sea floor. He chuckles and speaks aloud as he emerges from the waves. David Jones won't control the sea now. That fish fool is probably still crying after that ass kick. Now that I have his power, it's time to pay Gadget Geek a visit and take his. Then I'll be one step closer to wrapping things up. Dylan pauses as he stands on the shoreline. He realizes that his destination, the Giz Mansion, is miles from the shore. Damn, getting to the bottom of the ocean was easy enough, but there's a lot of people between me and Gadget Geek's place. He mutters to himself as he considers how to use his new power. You see, Villain had recently learned how to use his destructive power to destroy everything between him and where he wants to go, resulting in instantaneous movement, but also wiping out everything in a straight line. He also needs to know his destination and can't turn while moving. He calls this new power the speed of oblivion and uses it to instantly reach the bottom of the ocean and then resurface. Dylan hesitates for a moment when he considers how to use speed of oblivion right now. With a nervous chuckle, he looks to the sky and points at a cloud. There, that should be high enough. Just then, anybody watching would only see a ray of light between Dylan and that cloud, and then he would be gone just as quickly. He, however, found himself falling immediately from the sky. With a yelp, he placed his hands in front of him and activated his destruction field. An aura of light surrounded his body, and he was left floating in the air. He left out an exasperated breath and regained his composure. He'd never tried anything like this before, but now he could see all of Century City from up here. Ah, this power is badass. I can even destroy gravity. Huh. Now let's see. Yeah, that big ass mansion has to be. He pointed his finger at the forest surrounding the mansion and used Speed of Oblivion to instantly appear there. The scene shifts. You see Gadget Man, or the butler, in the cockpit of the Gizmo Collider. Threat detected. The AI within the database notified Gadget Man. Due to his android body, he has a perfect link to the database and knows instantly what the notification means. A man suddenly appeared near the outskirts of the Giz mansion. Normally, this wouldn't count as a threat, but he appeared suddenly without any detection of movement. Could be one of those punks using that superpower formula that's spreading throughout the city. For a moment, he was a bit concerned this could be the source of the alarming power signature he detected earlier, but upon further scanning, found that it's just a completely average person. All the same, that's to scare him off. Can't be letting any hoodlums get too close to HQ. I'll start with a hologram to conserve my power and observe his capabilities, he said to himself. Dylan stood outside the Giz mansion. He knows that the Star Force he needs to take is here somewhere. That clown guy from earlier warned him that this next superhero was much more aggressive than Fishboy and would probably confront him as soon as he came to the Giz mansion. He scratched his head trying to remember what he needed from Gadget Man. There are 5 heroes who have a power that he needs. But he was drawing a blank on what Gadget Man has. His memory seems a bit fuzzy when it comes to him. Just then, a man in a dark costume appeared before him, and a wicked grin spread over Villain's face. Oh, you must be him. It really was just as easy as walking here. Leave this place or face my fury, the grim figure said, his voice loud and clear despite being nearly 30 feet away. Villain raised his hand and pointed at the figure. Oh, real spooky. But how's this for scary? A white ray emitted from his finger and passed through the figure and through the trees behind him. Yep. What the hell? Villain muttered as he realized the figure was still standing, unmoved and unfazed. Before Villain could figure out what just happened, Gadget Man was frantically assessing the data from that one attack. At first, it appeared to be a laser type superpower, but it gave off no energy signature. What's more, it seemed to be the width of his finger and carved straight through everything without resistance until it left his field of vision. This is bad. With a power like that, he could potentially enter the Giz mansion. He did notice a weakness, though. This man's aim was clearly poor, as it would have missed any vital part of a human body, even if it weren't a hologram. There is no time for hesitation. Activate flight armor. A dark metal suit materialized over Gadget Man, and he ejected from the Gizmo Collider. His exoskeletal armor could withstand any man made weapon, and parts of his body were designed to transform as needed. His cape was actually a transformable pair of wings that can emit a jet-like thrust powerful enough to push him faster than any modern aircraft. This level of power could be sustained for 1 minute, but he intends to end this villain's career in under a second. And so 1 second begins. He quickly closed the distance to the stranger, a sonic boom emitting behind him, powerful enough to shake every tree in the forest. I'll end this with an electric pulse to his head. That should be all I need to incapacitate him. But I need to close the distance fast and touch him before he has a chance to react. The power output of his attacks is still unknown, and I can't risk giving him time to fire another shot without further assessment. I must also reserve my power output for now. Though at this speed, there is a chance this move could be lethal. just from approaching him. Gadget Man closed the distance in a split second before the stranger even realized he was shooting a hologram. One small tap at this speed would be all it takes to knock him out or paste him. He would have to be careful with the speed of his approach. As Gadget Man's hand moved towards the stranger's head from behind, it seemed to disappear instantly. In a brief moment of shock, Gadget Man created a counter thrust to stop his flight. The force of it was so powerful that it actually toppled numerous trees in front of him, though not affecting the stranger at all. He looked at his hand and saw it was removed perfectly. There was no energy burn as if from an energy source, no friction as if from a cut. His impervious metal armor did nothing to stop his hand from being completely destroyed. In that brief moment of shock, Gadgetman was still perceiving time much faster than any human, and could see the stranger slowly turning to face him. He had a wicked grin plastered over his face. 2 seconds. No time to reflect. Gadgetman quickly thrust it backward to create a distance between himself and the stranger, and dropped a smoke bomb from his gadget belt to cover his retreat. As he thrust away, leaving behind a cloud of smoke, the database has also identified him as Victor Virtue, a small time drug dealer and a missing student from Century City High with a long but relatively harmless criminal record. How did a punk like this gain such ridiculous power? First a hologram, then a sneak attack, now smoke? This guy's a real trickster, huh? Villain mused before using Speed of Oblivion to quickly emerge from the smoke cloud. And saw Gadget Man was already far enough to look like a fly in the distance. Holy crap, this guy was just in my face a second ago, and now he's all the way over there? Crap, Villain muttered as he raised his hand to take aim. It's going to be hard to hit him from here, and if I do, I might accidentally hit his head. I'll never get his power. Oh, right, I'll just use my new technique to get real close.
Mhm.
5 seconds. This should be a good distance, Gadget Man figured. From here, I have time to deploy the drones from the Gizmo glider and formulate a new attack plan, while keeping my power use limited. Gadget Man thought to himself. But in an instant, a flicker of light appeared only a few meters from him in the air. And what emerged was Victor, his hand pointed right at Gadget Man, and instantly a ray of light came from his finger and struck Gadget Man in his cape, destroying half of it. Gadget Man began falling. This isn't the end. Reformat suit. Minimize defenses. Reformat armored components into extra thrusters. I need to increase my movement capabilities and power output. Defense is useless against this guy. Activate stealth capabilities as well. Shit. Damage is severe. Stealth will take approximately 5 seconds to activate. Until then, I'll move at maximum speed while using my extra thrusters to change course every zero point 0.1 second. I can't move in a straight line or he'll just use the same attack combination. Villain fist pumped after landing that hit. This fight wasn't going to be any harder than that fish boy. But, what's going on with Tin Man? His suit is moving around. Parts are moving. Just then, Villain saw Gadget Man blast off, even faster than before. He was moving in a crazy zigzag pattern. Crap, I'll just try the same thing. Villain used the speed of Oblivion to try to catch up to Gadget Man, but even though his movement was instant, his reaction time couldn't keep up. He would appear before Gadget Man, ready to shoot an attack, but lost sight of him right away. Over and over again, he did this, using Speed of Oblivion, announcing his attack. Oblivion, Oblivion, Oblivion. Ah, shit, I can't keep track. How is he so fast? For 4 seconds, this kept up. Anybody watching this fight from afar would have seen what looked like a massive connected constellation of 20 points, each line being the trail of his Oblivion movement, as well as nearly 40 shimmering flashes for every time Gadget Man shifted his thrust. And just as quickly, the light show would end when Gadget Man's stealth mode kicked in. 10 seconds. Stealth mode active, just in time. Now I can get away. This is bad. Victor is getting stronger as we fight. His movement is getting more precise. Right up until that last turn. His power is evolving after only 10 seconds of combat. Another second, I might have got hit again. Hmm. Drones are en route. Good. I can enter power conservation mode while they assault him. I'll scan his weakness from afar. Gadget Man stops. No, I need to
I
maintain
know. You're
combat
doing a
mode.
funny dance.
No, I need to maintain combat mode. If I uncover a weakness, I'll need to act on it quickly before he adapts again.
Stop arguing and go potty.
Villain was left there in the air trying to figure out where his opponent went. That coward got away. Some damn hero you are. Get back here, you bastard. He shouted. I can't believe it. Wait, what's that? Villain then saw a bunch of orbs floating toward him from different directions of the sky. Seriously, this is his next trick? Some toys? Villain raised his hand, ready to shoot them down, but just as soon as he did, they all started darting around like Gadget Man, moving in zigzag patterns. Some moving closer while others stayed back. They were also shooting at him, but it didn't matter because his destruction ore just canceled out their attacks, just like it destroyed Gadget Man's hand. They aren't as fast, and I don't have to worry about killing them, so I'll just blast them away in a flash. In a flurry of rapid attacks, Villain shot down numerous drones, using Speed of Oblivion to get close enough to actually aim at them, but was caught off guard when he was preparing his next attack. He felt a sharp burn cut through his stomach. 15 seconds. That was it. That was the opening I needed. Gadget Man saw while Victor was fighting the drones, he was using all three of his abilities. He was maintaining his destructive field while using his instant movement and shooting his light blast. Gadget Man gathered enough data to realize that Victor was really just using one power the whole time. It was his destructive field. Anytime before and after using his instant movement, his field was temporarily inactive, if only for a millisecond. Every time he fired a laser, sensors detected a micro gap in his field about the width of a hair. It was all just his field being utilized in different ways, and while moving and shooting, there was a clear opening, one that could only be seen by a supercomputer, and one that only a precision laser could strike. Gadget Man was still in stealth mode, and was leading Villain with the drone's movements into a position while stealthily getting close enough to deliver the attack. When Victor exited his instant movement and shot a laser immediately afterward at one of the drones, Gadget Man was already in position, only a few meters from Victor while in stealth mode, and fired a heat ray from his palm straight into Victor's stomach. In terms of power, only a small portion of the heat ray actually hit Villain, but despite the incredible power the Fiend possessed, his body was only human. The attack was a fatal one as far as Gadget Man's assessment went. He would either pass out from pain soon or would succumb to internal bleeding not too long after that. Villain stopped attacking immediately. He held out one hand to concentrate on keeping his field up while clutching his stomach with the other hand. Oh shit! Villain exclaimed softly as blood spilled from his stomach and his vision seemed to blur. His hand was shaking. Surrender yourself and I can spare your life. Villain heard Gadget Man's voice nearby, but couldn't see him. How did he hit me? Crap. These toys are still shooting and he's just waiting to hit me again. Screw you, man. Villain tried to shout, but mostly just gurgled out blood. 20 seconds. That blow is fatal. I don't need to hit you again to win. Just hide behind your barrier as long as you want. And when you pass out from internal bleeding, I can't guarantee you'll live. Gadget Man goaded. This was a bit of a bluff, as Gadget Man could only maintain this level of combat power for half a minute longer, and needed Villain to make a move first. This feeling, this killer intent, it doesn't feel like I'm fighting a hero at all, thought Villain. He closed his eyes and clenched his teeth. Think, idiot, think. I need to use a new attack or something. Villain's mind raced as he desperately maintained his barrier under the barrage of the drone's lasers. He considered using Speed of Oblivion to rise above all the drones and fire out a super wide ray of destruction to hit them all. Yeah, super wide surprise! No. He could feel it. Gadget Man would somehow strike him again. Rapid fire? No. Destruction bomb? No. God, I can't think with this pain. Wait, that could work. Yeah. New move, painkiller. 23 seconds in, Gadget Man observed from stealth.
Mm.
He had nearly half a minute of power left and had already identified numerous weaknesses that made this battle unwinnable for Victor. On top of the openings, after attack, the field had a gap around Victor's head every 10 seconds to allow air into the field. If this fool maintains the defensive, I'll use that opening. On top of that, Gadget Man noticed Victor needs to use his hand to aim his destruction rays, and now is trembling badly just to maintain his field. The other hand is uselessly cupping his wound. Wait, the light from his hand? Is he using his attack on himself? Just as Victor shot a light over his stomach, he stopped shaking. Did he kill himself? No, his field is still active. Wait, something changed in him. 25 seconds. Yes, that's it. Victor thought to himself. I can destroy more than physical things. I can destroy gravity. I can kill my pain. I can think clearly. Now I can control my aura. Villain grinned, even his blood soaked his clothes and spilled from his mouth. He wiped the blood from his mouth and used the same hand to brush his hair from his eyes. His blonde hair now had a red streak running through it as he raised both hands towards the drones and saw them moving in slow motion, even as they were streaking around. What the hell, Gadget Man thought. Has he adapted already? Quick, drones, defensive formation. Dart away from where he's aiming with his hands. It doesn't matter what he's planning. His arms can't move faster than our thrusters, and he can't hit what he can't aim at. As the drones started darting around Villain, the destruction field seemed to visibly swirl around him, and rays of light emerged, swiftly striking down all the drones, even the ones he wasn't pointing at, all while they were moving at Mach speeds in different directions. Even Gadget Man didn't expect that. He was still in stealth and still ready to deliver another heat ray in the opening of the destruction field, but was caught off guard when he saw the pattern in the field change. No, it was the same, but the timing was different. 30 seconds. Gadget Man stood behind Villain stunned and heard the fiend speak. Did you really think I needed to point at things I wanted to destroy? That's a hell of an assumption. Villain then turned to face Gadget Man. Do you feel it now, Tin Man? I can see you. You must be running out of juice, huh? It's true. His stealth capabilities are no longer functional. 35 seconds. Gadget Man quickly tried to thrust away at max speed. Retreat is the only option now. His thrusters created a blast that pushed him faster than he ever tried. But he didn't get far before he saw Villain appear right in front of him. That's rude. I just want a little monologue before I run your stupid face through the dirt. Shut it, punk, Gadget Man shouted as he raised his hand for a full power heat ray. A wide blast of energy emitted from his palm. The blast was wide enough to engulf a car and hot enough to melt steel. 40 seconds. Villain laughed as he casually floated through the massive blast. Damn, it's actually pretty bright, he thought, as he reached out to grab Gadget's Man's other hand to destroy it. It was a surprise when he found the hand was just floating there with its own thruster coming from where it should have been attached to the arm. He really just ditched his other hand to get away. Shit. 50 seconds. Gadget Man was darting away with the last reserves of his power. By now he had already pushed his body too far. In fact, because of the damage and excessive thruster use, he had violated his energy limitation protocol. Self-destruction was inevitable. All I can do now is leave the atmosphere and hope nobody is harmed by my death. Crap. Sensors are shutting down. Everything's going dark. Good night, Century City. Villain finally saw the hero in the distance and used Speed of Oblivion to reach him instantly. He appeared above him, hands raised for a final attack. Show's over, dickhead, Villain shouted, but stopped when he noticed Gadget Man wasn't darting away. Instead, he was just falling. Is this another trick? Villain reached out and grabbed him, but geez, he's heavier than he looks. Villain then heard a robotic voice come from a speaker in his chest. Self-destruction imminent. Stand at least 5 miles away. Shit, don't kill yourself just because I kicked your ass, Villain shouted, and then cusped his hands around a glowing dot within the hero's chest. Just then, an explosion powerful enough to destroy a city took place within Villain's hands. Contained by an aura of absolute destruction, it looked to be little more than an overly bright firecracker between his fingers. Villain took a moment to look at Gadget Man. Both his arms were gone. His armor had all broken off of him. He nearly blew himself up, and now, if Villain let him go, the Tin Man would crash to Earth from a couple miles up with no shell to protect him. This asshole was prepared to kill me, and he's the hero? What a joke. I'll take what I came for. Villain then did to Gadget Man what he had already done to two heroes before him. Through means unknown, he stole Gadget Man's hidden power, his Star Force. What the Star Force was is a secret to be revealed later, dear viewers. But as for Villain, a wealth of knowledge came with this power.
Mhm.
He learned of the secret computer within the Gizmo Grotto. He learned of the cyberspace that could be accessed through it. He learned that was where Violet Virtue was, or Gizmo Girl as she calls herself. The Star Force was incomplete, and the rest of it was in her hands, there in cyberspace. As for Gadget Man, I could just let him go. I am the bad guy after all. Hours later, an android butler awoke within the forest of Century City. He assessed his damage. No self destruction. Maybe my power output wasn't as high as I estimated. An output sensor error, most likely. In fact, I must have had enough power in reserve to slow my landing as an automated function. Neither myself nor the ground appear to have suffered a significant impact. I'll need to return to the headquarters to rebuild my body, though. As for that villain fellow, he must have passed out from blood loss before I lost consciousness. I'll assess the combat footage later at the base, but something feels different within me. What happened after that fight? And the scene fades. And that was the battle between Destruction Incarnate and the Ultimate Android. Hey, what'd you guys think?
5 mile strap on bomb. That's insane.
Yeah, I want it to be a little insane.
I
That
liked it.
that had a lot going on. I was on the edge of my seat. Not gonna lie.
Really? You guys liked it? Oh,
Mhm.
I was worried. I never done anything like this. It
Some
was a
good.
lot of fun writing this out.
So frequency knows villain. I haven't met villain yet. Sparkstorm.
Technically, you've seen him, but you don't know who he is.
So
Yes.
I haven't met him yet.
Yeah, like
Yep.
he showed up and jacked one of our star forces, but yeah, you don't know who he is.
So hero stole one of them and villain stole the other.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I had a good time with that. I'll probably do another one later.
So essentially, that was what I have read throughout the comic, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Would I have recognized the person in the comic to the person who stole the Star Force?
yeah, he had a pretty distinct appearance. You know, he's a punk in a studded yellow jacket.
So I would have seen him, been like, he looks familiar, type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You did buy the comic after you first met him, though. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
yeah,
first saw him.
yeah. So, yeah, you know, all that stuff is technically knowledge you possess about the two of them. If you want to act on that knowledge,
The knowledge you think you possess, you don't know if the comic is telling the truth or not.
true.
I'll have to review the cliff notes a couple times before I grill uh, Gizmo Man.
Yeah, I did send you guys a copy of it if you guys for some reason want to go back and read it on your own, but it's there.
Where is it?
In Google Docs, I
Oh,
shared something called Powerless Exposition. It's got the full recaps of everything that happened last time before we picked up our sessions. It also has any experimental side projects like this, any narratives that I'm gonna write out. I'm gonna put into it.
gotcha.
So yeah. Anyways,
Okay.
you guys are ready to actually begin the session. Okay, cool. Um. Anyways, I actually found it. Oh, no wonder I was having trouble finding it. I titled it differently than my normal headings. Anyways, last time on Powerless, and we will keep it short, don't worry. I just want to see what you guys want to do next. Our heroes were about to enter the desert north of Duat City with the intention of reaching the capital where Gizmo Girl had headed. Upon entering the edge of the desert, they found a bar with an ornery con man and a depressed robot who repeatedly warned them about the desert. Our heroes thought it was weird that the two of them assumed that they were heading north. But really, nobody goes out that way unless they are trying to go north. And besides that, our heroes would later learn that the bar owner's real business was smuggling people across the desert. So, I mean, actually, it's not a weird assumption to make, really, on their part. Anyways, our heroes steal the bike because the con man tried to shoot them and returned it to Harry so that he could try to find a way to power it, as it was faulty and could only go about 30 miles before dying. In the meanwhile, they decided to head southeast into Duet City to the giant robot, where they found it was heavily guarded and under construction. Sparkstorm bluffed his way in and even met the head scientist who was in charge of the robot, a moderator named Ramses.
Oh yeah.
After, you say, hang on?
No, I said, oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. After being allowed to work on the robot, Sparkstorm noticed that the reason it couldn't power on was that a sort of beam entered one side of it and pierced straight through the giant battery. Sparkstorm removed the damaged battery and managed to power it using his own abilities for about 5 seconds. Before doing anything too suspicious, though, our heroes decided then that maybe they should leave. But not before Ramses mentioned that he would send a commendation to Emperor Anubis for Sparkstorm's performances. Sparkstorm convinced Ramses that he was an agent sent there on Anubis's behalf. And that's pretty much where we left. And before you guys do anything, I'm gonna say just as Ramses makes a snide comment that he's gonna send the commendation because he's kind of onto you. Um, he seems like he's shocked of a notification or something. Something comes up. He's got like a holographic display in front of him. He's tapping his forearm, beep beep doop bop, pressing buttons that you guys don't see, and some sort of notification appears on his holographic display. And he says, "Drat." And he looks at you, Sparkstorm. Mm, regardless of my doubts upon your credentials, I just got an update that I need to be on my way. Until I return, overseeing reconstruction of this robot is on you because you guys convinced him so much. Anyways,
I kind of well when he says it, I kind of elbow Sparkstorm and I whisper in his ear, "Overachiever."
Wait, I thought we
uh,
left.
I'm kind of backpedaling a little bit. You guys are about to leave. Well, I'm just gonna say, taking a step back right before you guys actually get out of there, since you guys didn't really do anything. Just saying this happens. If you guys want to capitalize on this, you guys can, or you guys can just leave like normal. Anyways, Ramses seems to form like a sort of power suit around him with like jets within his feet and hands, and he kind of blasts off up north. He goes in the direction of the capital. He just kind of darts away instantly, like really fast. Um, Now all the guards around the place are kind of just looking at you guys like,
I step back and he look at Sparkstorm with that look of "You got us into this." So yeah,
I just, I'm like, wow, what a dick, just up and leaves like that. And then I notice everyone like, just like watching me. I'm like, what are you guys standing around for? We got a robot to build. Who, who here can give me the blueprints of this thing? We need those in order to rebuild this.
569, the guard from earlier, runs up to you. Right here, sir, Agent Sparks, sir. And he bows down and tries not to look you directly in the eyes. And he kind of gives you like a holographic like scroll. You open it. It's like two rods. You open it, and a holographic display kind of appears from between the two rods.
I look at this. I'm
after
like,
he gives Sparkstorm the blueprints, and I go, "I want a cold drink."
say, hold on,
looking for
number
this up.
two. I go, hey, stand up. You, you're a person too. I think this is the tech I like to see. Okay, now, Frank wants a drink. I don't know, what did I call you last time?
Honestly, I can't remember. I think it was Frank. I think you've been calling me Frank to hide the name frequency.
Yeah, I knew I was trying to hide your name,
Yeah,
but I forgot what it was.
yeah, I
So
think it was Frank.
I tell him I don't think that you're not a person, and that I like this technology. And then also, hey, he's serious. He wants a drink.
All of a sudden, 569 kind of perks up. I'm a person? And he kind of perks up and he starts looking around him. He says, "Everybody bow down. I'm a person. Just like Agent Sparkstorm here."
Okay, let's not get ahead of yourself. He's still waiting on his drink here. Go.
Uh, yes, sir. He runs up and runs off somewhere. You see him kind of go to like a machine if you want to look at him. He's getting some sort of liquid from the machine. Seems to be trickling out kind of slow though.
Kind of shrug and I look at Sparkstorm and I go, so apparently person means something different here than it does where we come from.
I mean, they just call him 519, so apparently he's just a number here.
Apparently. Be careful with how many people you promote to person status though. He was pretty inundated with power there for like 3 seconds.
Yeah, I really had to nip that in the butt, didn't I?
Yeah.
Um, hey, yeah, maybe keep an eye on this place. I'm gonna try, fixing this a little bit, but I'm literally just trying to memorize these prints as best as possible. So,
I'll have fun being in charge.
also, if you can get someone to round up some like batteries, and or like get a power source, like whether if they have to tap in like four different people's houses, or throw a wire over a line. Just we need some way of getting power in here. Just I'm sure someone will figure it out. I can't power
I'll
this
get
all
on.
myself.
I'll get on the minions. You go do your smart stuff.
All right. So as you're reading the scroll, uh, just roll an engineering check real quick, just to, size up how quickly you're able to decipher all the pertinent information within it.
Um, where is it? There we go. If you say so.
I do say
Um,
so.
I meant Google Drive doc, Excel sheet. A 22.
Okay. Uh, you're really good at engineering, but this is unlike anything you've ever seen before. So you're kind of taking it in at your own pace. Um, you are kind of seeing more efficient ways to actually manage the energy output and kind of figuring out some ways to hook certain things up. But you are kind of taking it at your pace. It's not all coming together yet. Um, anyways, you're reading that. Frequency, your drink's ready.
I take my drink gladly and I smile and I convey the orders that Sparkstorm gave me to 592. I'm like, so we need as many batteries or power sources as you guys can get your hands on. We need to see if we can hook up a direct line of power. Was there anything else that I'm missing, meta-wise?
No, just
No.
we need a
Okay.
lot of power.
Yep. We need to get as much power as we can to this here robot and my buddy Sparkstorm. Now, if you want to keep that person status you've been granted, 592, you'll make sure this is done lickety split. And then I kind of like sit down on whatever the closest chair like thing is and start sipping my drink as I watch him jump to work.
You're sipping your drink, roll a fortitude
Okay. Not
check.
being poisoned.
No.
Being poisoned.
I
Sparkstorm, you got me poisoned. Fortitude.
Hey, if you fail this, that means you get a benefit. If you pass it, that means your body fought off whatever was in it, and then nothing happens. So it might be a good idea to fail.
I don't know. I do
fail.
not control R and Jesus. He is my guide.
RNG's is
I got a 22.
you kind of swallow it down and you purse your lips. It's mucky water. It feels like water from a river that's full of mud. Like it is not pure at all.
Um, I spit it out. I'm like, what are you serving me? I am friends with the great agent Sparkstorm, who's up there fixing your robot, and you give me river water.
This is the cleanest tap water around, sir. He says
You're
friendly.
you're a bunch of robots. Can't you purify that stuff? Like, come on. My fridge can purify water. Why can't you
The last purification center broke down years ago.
purify it yourself? Boil it, put a little salt in it, boil it some more, drain it out, and there you go, pure water.
He kind of looks at the other guards, and they all kind of look at him, and they're just like, "That's brilliant, sir." and
I
they
kind
all
of
go,
I kind of look shocked, but then I quickly recover at my shocked attitude and go, "Well, yes, I am the great Agent Sparkstorm's friend for a reason. I am not just a lackey." I try to say with as much pomp as I can.
Not
completely
just a
not.
lackey.
Yeah,
And you see the one that was called a human start telling the others, "Start boiling water. Start boiling water. You boil water." Also, bring him the prisoners. We must harness their power cells.
well, don't forget the landline too.
He kind of looks over and he motions towards it, and you see the landlines kind of being held up by a harness. You see they're kind of working on trying to like pick it up and bring it up to the robot. Actually, it does appear that with those 5 seconds that the robot was powered, a lot of the components seem to have been powered nearby it as well. Everything that was hooked up to the robot and construction actually seemed to have sped up a little bit. Uh, a
See?
surprising amount since that last time you came here, since the first time you came
Okay.
here. Anyways,
Wait, so
you,
like the machines that are repairing it got a little extra juice from me and started repairing it faster
yeah,
by connection.
yeah.
Interesting.
Anyways, one of the guards hauls up. You see a bunch of the people who look like the raiders that you assaulted earlier. They're all chained up. They got their hands tied behind their backs. And 569 says you frequency because Sparkstorm's still kind of reading the scroll. Not
He
much of
went
that.
off to the robot to read. He's reading in private.
Okay. Anyways, he says these raiders were trying to pillage this robot earlier for usable parts. They were easily overpowered. Within their bodies are batteries. They've assimilated certain components within themselves. We could use their life force to power this robot for a certain amount of time, but Director Ramses was trying to find the optimal time to actually siphon their life force out.
Well, see, question. Can we take their batteries without killing them?
You want to preserve their lives? That would take time.
Well, see, preserving their lives creates a workforce as long as their crime is within standard reason, which stealing from the great Emperor Anubis is, of course, reasonable. Why not put them to work instead of killing them?
Going from Emperor Anubis is reasonable. The guards all kind of like ponder. They get kind of hooked up on that.
No, I mean it's a crime that's reasonably punishable. That's what I meant by it. Not like it's a
Oh,
good thing to do. It's a good crime to be punished for. You
oh
know
yeah.
what I mean?
You want to put these ones to work.
Well, yes.
And then the guard kind of just looks at all the prisoners. If we spare you, will you work? All the prisoners are kind of just like fucking quivering in their boots, like nodding like vigorously. Like their mouths are all covered. And the guard kind of just looks at you as like, wow, why didn't we think of that?
Teach you how to boil water, and I teach you how to put your prisoners to work. You guys gotta use your brains a little more. I mean, you want to be true people, like 592 here has been promoted. You gotta learn to think outside the box.
Hide the box. They all kind of ponder. Prisoners, get to work. And he undoes the handcuffs.
I tell them to wait. I'm like, wait. Can we still steal their batteries without killing them? Because we do need the batteries. I just don't want them dead.
Could steal their batteries after they're done working. Uh, or we could wait for a surgeon to get here. We have one en route from the capital.
Urgent it is. We'll wait for the surgeon. Okay, put them to work.
No, meta-wise, are these ones like 592? Do do they look robotic or do they look like the human?
They're covered from head to toe in, you can't tell if it's armor, you can't tell if it's an exoskeleton. Um, they look like they could be robots. Their behavior certainly isn't very human-like, but without like a comprehensive like looking at them, you really don't know anything about their physiology.
Okay, I thought they were just a bunch of I I wasn't trying to call someone human who wasn't human. I actually thought they were human.
Uh, the Ravagers, the Raiders that you fought earlier did seem kind of human, but like modified. They seem to have like components added to them. So if you would
Oh yeah,
call that human, they're by definition human. But these guys, you don't know a lot about how they're put together. You haven't seen their faces. Anyways,
Are you dying?
apparently
my
it's
throat's a
that
little
water.
dry. My throat's been dry since I had that cold last week.
Hmm.
I've been coughing. I've been getting those dry coughs. It's not as bad as what it used to be. Anyways,
It's that mucky water.
maybe. Anyways, uh, Sparkstorm, back to you. Roll another engineering check.
I did
Yeah, you got it. You got it. Hey,
29.
everything's kind of coming together. Um, you can see an optimal secondary input for the power cable that's much closer to the base of it, more near the core of it, not up near the neck where they were trying to haul it. And it might be easier for them to get their harnesses in the spot that you found. You also found some switches, some power, um, let's say routes that are unoptimal. If you close those off, power would be able to travel through it more efficiently without going towards unnecessary sources. Kind of like railroad tracks, just shut off some avenues, and the train will get where it's trying to go more effectively. If that analogy helps at all.
Not really, but I knew what you were talking about from the beginning, so it works.
Okay.
Okay. I I, I want to keep reading, but and like I'm also trying to think of a way like I don't know what are we dressed in? The same stuff that we are when we came from the other world, or was it like some sort of weird cartoon or TV show cartoon where like we went through to the Gizmo world or Giz world whatever, and we actually changed clothing and everything too.
Uh, sure if your clothing does seem different. It almost seems to have a lower resolution than it did before, if that makes any sense. But largely, you seem to be wearing the same thing.
So I could casually slide this into my pocket and walk out, and maybe no one would notice.
You could assume as much, yeah. You seem to be in charge around here. I don't think anybody would bat an eye.
Um. Okay, so that put my mind a little at ease. I'm near like the head and the core, or like the head where he was where Ramsey was working. Um, and like I figure out these schematics quite a bit. I'm like, okay, I think I'm caught up about here, caught up enough to like start asking them questions, and I'm trying to field questions that the couple people were who are working on it had, and if they start asking questions, um, just to act like while I'm continually reading, I know what's or like it looks like I'm progressing so far.
Okay. I could spit some general information at you as well. Uh, while you're asking some questions, some of the guards do inform you that the machine was under construction at the bidding of Lord Anubis as to be made without any dualium, as there is no sources of dualium. It is purely just standard metals. The first of its kind. They're hoping to recreate a new casing for a god to live within. One made without dualium because there is none that they can find. Um, they're hoping that whatever god gets housed within this new body would be able to
Probably.
destroy the barbarians past the gates, the savages who are beyond the wall. But alas, somebody came from off world somehow and somehow dealt this blow to this machine, cut its arm off, and blew a hole straight through its head while it was under construction. Regardless, this intruder seems to be imprisoned somewhere to the north in the arena. They don't know the specifics of how he was imprisoned or how he got here or how he managed to do what he did to the robot, but they know those general facts. Um, they also know that the robot, it's just oh yeah, here's this. Um, some of the moderators have other smaller robots that are under construction in the capital. This is supposed to be the main core of the machine. The smaller parts of the robot, uh, we're supposed to be able to transform and graft onto this robot as a super robot eventually, once construction is complete on all of them. Each component would be piloted by a different moderator.
Okay,
You know, they would all combine to create a super fighting robot.
of course.
Though they were
5 minibot to create 1 megabot.
yes. The code names for the machines were Pharaohs 1 through 5. And this would be Pharaoh Omega would
Oh
be
my
the
god.
ultimate fighting robot.
You are just too predictable.
It's fun. So this is Pharaoh 1. That's the code name of this robot. This
So
is
this giant robot is the mini robot that creates the even bigger robot.
it's the core of it, the base, the one that forms the body
Oh,
once
okay.
all the components come together.
And then
So
the
the
other
other four
ones
are
are
going to
the
be smaller.
extremities.
Yep, all the other ones would be smaller extremities.
Gotcha.
Um,
Are they lions?
I mean, you haven't seen them, and all these guards don't know much about the other uh, components, as Ramses was working on them in secret before coming in here to oversee the repairs after it was damaged.
Yeah, I was just wondering how far you were taking it. As far as frequency knows, he doesn't even know that. This is,
No, they're not animals.
just checking. I wanted to make sure if they were lions or not.
No, I kind of want to though.
All right. Anyway,
Anyways, frequency, you're not hearing any of it.
nope, totally not. I have not heard any of this.
So all of this information has been imparted upon Sparkstorm.
okay, I wanna um ask if like they have. I want to look for like the blueprint of like the head or whatever, or like the package, and be like, all right, what are we missing here? And then I want to like mark it off like with some string, like okay, these points connect or whatever. I want to like have one of them start like fake wiring, unless we actually they have wire on hand that they can start wiring some stuff up together.
Wiring stuff.
I mean, there's that big hole through the head. Like, stuff got destroyed. I want to start, structurally wise, or like the
Oh,
big,
you want to start patching it up?
yeah, the big piece of metal like that. That'll have to come later, but like at least we can get the connection points, and then they can put the frame whatever around it.
All the soldiers kind of look at you as just like, Ramses was doing all the repairs himself. He didn't want any of us knowing how this thing worked.
Oh, that's fine. Then I can just help answering your questions. Um, unless you guys got some wires, I want to make it easier to power on. That's all. And then he can finish it the rest of it.
Okay. So do you just want to like tell them what you learned from the blueprints and tell them what to switch and what to close off and stuff?
No, I ask them for some wires, some like clippers or whatever, and some like labels so I can label some wires, and then uh I want to rewire it, or not rewire it, but I want to like focus that like the main connection point for the electricity isn't the head that I was trying. It's in the core, and then I want to like program it to like turn off the extra power, so just the core of it's powered. Like what you were saying before, like
Um,
I don't want to make
I
it
think
more
I know what you're
efficient.
trying to say. You're breaking up a little bit. The guards do run around. They start.
Actually, I think you're the one breaking up.
Yeah, I hear him just fine. It's probably on your end.
Your camera's frozen
You
for a little bit.
don't.
Do not. Oh,
It's totally on your end.
your camera
My
is breaking up for a second.
okay. Let me close.
Um. So yeah, I'm not trying to like.
Okay. Okay. So
I'm not
I
trying to
think
make
I
it.
got it.
I'm
Hold
not
on.
trying to.
Say it
Hold on.
again.
I'm not trying to make it more efficient or improve on it. I'm just trying to get it like marked off or whatever, and like disable the extra stuff just so that we can just so when they try to power it on, it doesn't like zap all the juice for not a good reason.
Okay. Yeah. They all start scurrying about. They start marking things and labeling things, and one of the guards standing there, and he's just kind of like, he's looking at you for a bit. He's like, "Sir, I don't think any of us really know where to put any of these markings and labelings. I think people are just writing things down."
No, I'm doing all this. They're not doing it.
Oh, okay. All right. They bring you all the materials with all the labels and markings and everything. They do that. They have that stuff laying around.
Yeah, but I figured it'd be a lot quicker for them to grab it, and I do it. Um,
I'd say it probably.
and then after that,
Yeah, you see around Ramsey's work desk, he had it like set up there on the scaffolding.
I want to uh just be like, hey, I need a battery real quick. I want to test it out, and ask them for a battery.
Just guard kind of like motions for one of the other guards to get close to him. And it says forfeit your power source.
No,
The
no, no,
guard kind of just turns around, kind of like,
no,
no, no,
no,
no.
no, 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 no! Don't do that. Is
The,
it?
the
Is
guard kind of pauses. You don't want his power source?
doesn't he need it?
Take one from one of the prisoners.
Can can
Not
we
if you need it.
recharge it and give it back to him, and he'll be fine? The guard, that is.
If you don't destroy it.
Okay.
Yeah, we could recharge it and give it back to him.
Okay. And I hold out my hand right here.
He takes
Now,
he kind of grabs some sort of
Hold
note
on.
on the guard
Stop.
kind of just like shuts down. You see all the lights on
Stop.
his armor turn off,
Donnie,
and he kind of just stands there. What?
Donnie, You like
Hello?
cut out for like a good 30 seconds and then you just kept going.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was the last thing you heard?
It's pretty much right when you started to talk about what he's doing when I asked for the battery.
Okay. Did you hear what I said
Well,
about him grabbing the node on his spine?
we were trying to tell you to stop because you cut out for like the first 2 sentences of that, and then you just kept running while we were trying to tell you to stop. So I ended up missing all of it. Versus just missing the first 2 sentences, I missed all of it.
Oh, sorry.
So pretty much when he like I said, yeah, okay,
I didn't hear all that.
give it to me, and then he can return.
Anyway,
You can. Do you not hear me right now?
He's cutting in and out on him too. Like, are
I can
him
hear you
hearing us?
now.
Oh, okay. Stop screen sharing real quick.
I can hear you guys.
You went into a
No,
robot mode.
no, you can't. Stop streaming on Discord.
Or is he gone?
He's here, but maybe his computer died.
All right.
Maybe his computer actually did die.
He does need a new one, though he refuses to get one.
How's that?
Much
Hey,
better. Say no. It was an issue because we would be trying to talk to you, but you wouldn't hear us talk to you, and so you just keep on blowing past it.
On Discord, I stopped screen sharing.
I know. No, I was just saying that was the thing. Like
Cancel
you're fine.
screen sharing.
I started sharing.
I'm going to reconnect.
he was still roboting. I don't think he could hear you.
Yeah. All right, so he's restarting Discord.
Just Discord or his whole computer?
He texted just Discord.
Okay. How do I sound?
Like a robot still?
Well,
Like a robot?
Not completely. You just had a couple like high ping stuff.
Okay. Well, maybe we should try to. I don't want to end the session on bad connection. So tell me if I start breaking up.
I mean, if you want,
Okay.
we can just end it on I asked someone for a battery and the guard goes to take it from another guard. Like that's
Can't believe you're breaking up with me.
Yeah, I don't know. I was having fun, kind of like role playing the quirks and weirdnesses of these guards.
Well, you got a couple more sessions of weirdness at least.
Okay. So yeah, let's end it here. It is late. We did kind of start late. So, anyways, yeah.
And you're breaking up.
You guys will I'm breaking up again already.
Well, you just did.
Hello.
Hi.
you were fine for a second, but now you are again.
Can you even hear us? I don't.
Ah, god damn it.
Now
I
I
don't
can
think
hear
we're
you.
gonna get a closing statement.
Wait,
Come on.
I don't think he can hear us.
I don't think you can either.
I didn't. Yeah, I was going to make a closing statement. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
We can until you go robotic. That's a thing. It just you can't hear us let you know when you go robotic.
Nope.
Can you guys see me?
Well, I'm not looking at Discord, so I don't know.
Okay.
No, I don't see you on Discord.
You guys are in charge of a robot now.
Robot.
Yay!
You- Closing statement.
It's
Closing statement.
okay.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear
You
me?
guys are in charge of a robot. That's a closing statement. Good night.
No. Weird.
Yes, I said you guys are in charge of a robot.
All right,
Yeah, I
so
get what he's saying, Dan, but the way he's saying it just makes it all the more cooler because he sounds like a robot.
I think what he's trying to say is we're in charge of the robot, so we have to do the closing statement. But I'm taking it as we're in charge of this campaign now. So
Ah, I don't want to be in charge of another campaign.
um no, so the robot will lead us off next time. I'll get a solid recording, or no, actually this is a perfect recording for the podcast. So yeah, next week Thursday once again, because I'm leaving town on Friday. Everyone up on YouTube and podcasts, don't forget to like and subscribe or leave a comment where you can. Tweet me at Port17, and I'll see you later.
Talk to you guys later.